So here's the chart that you've got to complete to finish the Chapter 2 project. You've got your skills, you've got where to learn about those skills, and then the actual task you have to do. So what I'm doing here is breaking down the tasks so you don't feel overwhelmed in doing them. So here we go. I'm going to start with writing out the variable expression for Chapter 2, Section 1. Now the task says to write out a variable expression for the 10-cent a minute plan including text. So that's going to be the total cost for this 10-cent a minute plan equals the price for a minute times the number of minutes, so you're going to want to call that M, and the price for a text times the number of texts, so you'll want to call that T. Once you have that, you can start using these properties on them, like say the identity property of addition. You're going to take that, write it out, add 0, and then have the exact same variable expression, because that is the identity property. When you add 0 to anything, you get that original thing. So you're going to use all those properties: associative, commutative, identity. The Chapter 2, Section 2 activity. Show what would happen to the variable expression for the 10-cent a minute plan if 2 people bought it. So now you're taking the total cost for 2 people equals 2 times that variable expression you wrote. You've got to show that you are using the distributive property. So when you take 2 times your variable expression, you could also say 2 times M plus 2 times T, and that is still the price for text and the price for minutes. Don't give me a blank. I'm just not telling you right now because I don't want to do all your work for you. Chapter 2, Section 3. Write out the definitions of term, coefficient, constant, and then identify them in that variable expression. So you got to say this is a term, this is a coefficient, this is a constant. Actually, there is no constant, so you won't need to do that. You'll still have to define it. Another Chapter 2, Section 3 task. Show what would happen if you purchased a 10-cent a minute plan for more than one person. Hey, you already did that. Be sure your work demonstrates simplifying when you find the total bill. So when you have this variable expression, you're going to want to plug in some numbers from one of the months and then simplify. So you've been given months of data, like what Justin used for January. You could plug in a number for M and a number for T and then just simplify. Chapter 2, Section 4. Classify an equation you use as open, true, or false. If it has a variable, it's open. So you just have to explain that. If it has a variable, it's open when you write out one of the equations you use, like that 10-cent a minute equation. Also, Chapter 2, Section 4. You're going to make up some numbers for price, I should say cost, minutes, and text for your 10-cent a minute plan. Show whether your combination is a solution. So you just name a price. I don't know, name like $126. Plug in one of the months for, say you took January. Plug in some value for minutes, some value for text, and if you simplify those and these sides are not equal, then you're looking at a false equation. Chapter 2.5 and 2.6. Select a month for either person. Show what you would pay under a 10-cent a minute plan if they chose to split the bill equally. So now you are dividing. You could say 1/2 times whatever it is times M. I'm still not telling you, plus whatever it is times T. I'm still not telling you. And then you could multiply or divide to get your solution. But you've got to do it for the 10-cent plan and the $25 plan. So the $25 plan, the variable expression is different. For the $25 plan, you are paying $25 plus 10 cents for every minute over 250. So I could call that, maybe I'd call that 25 plus 0.10, I don't know, just call it P. I was going to call it O, but that would look like a 0, O for over, but maybe I'll just call it P, and we'll say that those are the minutes over 250. So that variable expression is slightly different, not slightly different, but it's definitely different because it has a constant than for the 10-cent plan. So that goes up here. For chapter 2.8, write and graph the number of minutes you must stay under in order to not have any extra charges. This one is super, super easy. When you graph on a number line, you're going to have a number of minutes here, and either a circle to show less than, or a colored circle to show less than or equal, and you're trying to stay under a number of minutes, so it's going to look like that. You're going to need the number of minutes here that you need to stay under for the $25 plan and the $50 plan. Chapter 2, Section 9 and Section 10. How many additional minutes above 250 can you use if you have the $25 monthly plan and still pay less than you would if you had the $50 plan? You're solving an inequality. What the one I wrote here says is that this is the number of minutes over 250 that I can have and still be less than 500. So you just have to solve this equation. Not equation, excuse me, inequality. Finally, create a graph that shows the relationship between the price and the minutes used for both the $25 monthly plan and the $50 monthly plan. That means you can have something that looks like this. On the y-axis is the minutes. Actually, that's price. Take that back. This is price. Your x-axis is the minutes because the number of minutes determines your price. So this is going to be your minutes. So say a $25 plan, I don't know, you could go by like 10, 20, 9, probably want to go 50s. 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. And let's say $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70. And so on. Now under this $25 monthly plan, you're going to show what you pay when you use 50 minutes, 100 minutes, 150 minutes. Well, you know that even if you use 0 minutes, you're going to pay $25. If I use 100 minutes, I'm going to pay $25. 200, 150, 200 minutes. It's once I get to 250 that I'm charged 10 cents per minute. So my slope is not going to be 0 anymore. My slope is going to start rising, because now, like, let's say I had 300 minutes here. That's 50 more. That's 50 over my 250. So it was 50 minutes times, and it was 10 cents a minute, times 50 equals $5. So if I use 50 extra minutes, I would be paying, that should line up with 30. I'd be paying $30. If I use 350, so 100 extra minutes, I would be paying $35. Should be right about there. So the graph changes. You've got to do that for a $50 plan, and if you really wanted to get crazy. I guess you could do it for the number of minutes on the 10 cent a minute plan. So hopefully those help you and you're not feeling frustrated on this project.